In a small, quiet town stood an ancient and decaying hotel known as the Mary Inn. This dull establishment had lost its glory days and now stood as an everlasting reminder of its past. Tales of its creepy demeanor had spread, and locals gossiped of the many spirits that lived within its walls. The corridors were dimly lit, the wallpapers creeping off the walls, revealing its faded patterns of time gone by. The air was filled with an unsettling chill, even on the hottest summer days. The few that dared to step foot within the gloomy interior often spoke of disturbing whispers that seemed to follow them throughout the inn. One stormy night, a group of curious souls decided to challenge their fears and spend the night at the Mary Inn. The group included Liz, a skeptical journalist seeking a thrilling story; Jordan, a thrill seeker with an eager curiosity for the supernatural; and John, a sensitive artist who felt a strange connection to the unknown. As the wind howled outside, the trio settled into their respective rooms. Liz's room was adorned with antique Victorian curtains that swayed ominously with every gust of wind. Jordan's room had a mirror that seemed to reflect distorted figures playing in the shadows. John's room, though somewhat less ominous, had a flickering light that cast unsettling shadows blending with the dying wallpaper on the walls. As the night wore on, strange occurrences began to unfold. Liz heard unsettling whispers echoing through the corridors, as if the walls themselves were trying to communicate. Jordan's reflection in the mirror looked as though it began to morph into a grinning face that was not his own, sending shivers down his spine. And in John's room, his art supplies began to rearrange themselves, falling from flat surfaces onto the floor. Unable to ignore the mounting terror, Liz, John, and Jordan decided to come together in the lobby to confront whatever malevolent forces were haunting the inn. As they gathered in the poorly lit space, a cool breeze swept through, extinguishing the candles they had lit. A chilling voice emerged from the darkness, its words echoing a sinister melody.
"Get out of my home!
It screeched in a high-pitched voice.
Leave now!"
It cried out with a demanding tone. Suddenly, a figure materialized before them, a ghostly form with hollow eyes and a tattered gown that seemed to flow in a chaotic rhythm. It was the spirit of a woman who had perished under tragic circumstances within the inn's walls, her anguished soul now forever bound to the place. The trio's fear intensified as the ghost recounted her tale, a tale of betrayal, heartache, and years of turmoil. She revealed that the night wouldn't end well for them if they had stayed. Liz was frightened and asked to leave, but Jordan was curious as to what she meant by her last statement. After she vanished, Liz and John thought it would be a good idea to take the warning and leave, but Jordan thought there was something extra special to learn about the inn. He thought that he might be the only one to make it into the next day, but Jordan had something else coming his way. Liz, being the level-headed one of the group, kept encouraging them to go. Her fear and anxiety grew more and more as other entities revealed themselves to her in shadow form. John heard children's laughter down the hall, and then again up on the second floor. "Come on, guys, we should go. This place is messing with us," he whispered in urgency. "No, stop being a sissy. We're staying," Jordan replied. John was torn between wanting to be safe and wanting to be a good friend. He contemplated his night and thought about everything that could possibly go wrong. After sticking around for an hour, John was so creeped out by the shadows and voices that he decided to leave. Liz was completely okay with leaving as well. The two of them grabbed their stuff and left. Upon leaving the inn, doors started slamming shut to symbolize them never being welcomed there again. The message was received by Liz and John, but Jordan's curiosity kept his judgment clouded. It was around 2 a.m. when Liz and John left. As they sat in the car, they took a moment to digest everything that happened. They noticed some flickering lights in both of their rooms, and what could only be described as the shadows of kids appeared in their windows. John quickly started the car and drove off. It was pretty quiet, Jordan thought, as he was setting up his equipment. An hour later, Jordan heard the sound of a chainsaw coming from upstairs. He then heard whispers of women calling his name down the hallway. In the corner of his eyes, he saw a woman standing there looking at him. Jordan was so creeped out, but he refused to show fear. He went up to his room, shut the door, and laid on his bed. The lights suddenly went out. He heard running right outside the bedroom door. It stopped for a second. In that moment of complete silence, Jordan heard a whisper in the voice of someone he dated. The voice said, "John, come into my room." At that point, he knew it was time to go. He was so terrified, shaking in his shoes. He slowly got up and got his stuff together. As he was packing his bags, he heard the doorknob shaking. He immediately swallowed his saliva. At that moment, he knew that he should have gone with Liz and John. He started rushing as he was trying to make his way out of the inn. He heard the chainsaw following him. In complete fear, he ran down the stairs while dialing Liz's number. "Shit," he screamed. His phone fell through the steps into the basement. He wouldn't dare go down there alone. He grabbed his camera setup and left the building. When Jordan was outside, he looked back at the inn. He noticed the same lady that warned them to leave, looking down at him from his bedroom window. With dogs howling, insane winds whistling, Jordan made his way back to his town. He was thankful for being alive, and is now excited to have another story to add to the catalog of stories about the Merry Inn.